Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon, and then I post these videos up to YouTube and Facebook and Patreon. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. The views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka, done. I'd like to thank my sponsor, BetterHelp, BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. They're an online therapy company. They are international. They have 40,000 therapists working for them, and they have different platforms that you can do the therapy on, such as chatting, such as email, such as video. So thank you, betterhelp.com/Chris Godinez. Okay, let's dive into the questions, shall we? All right, I recently moved from another state, and my mom insists that I give her my new address. I told her and my dad that I didn't feel comfortable sharing my information until I was ready. I feel guilty, but am I wrong? No, and you shouldn't even feel guilty. So here's the deal. You're an adult. You can share your address with whomever you choose, or not share your address with whomever you choose. So if this is a case of, hey, they've been abusive or controlling or manipulative or whatever, and you don't want contact with them, or you don't want them to know where you live because you're afraid that they're gonna, show up or do something, then yeah, you don't give them your address. So I think the thing to work on is the feeling guilty. So the question is, why do you feel guilty? If this is a necessary thing that's going to keep you safe, why do you feel guilty? So my suggestion would be get with a really, really good trauma therapist and work this through. I think a lot of times we have a hard time, how do I put this? Breaking away from parents, if it's a normal situation, if it's normal parents and everything, and they're just worried about you or whatever, that's one thing. And then it's okay to give them your address. If it's a not normal situation and they are abusive, or they are intrusive, or they are, likely to show up for, uninvited or unannounced or whatever, then yeah, that would be a case where you would be very careful giving out your address. You're an adult. You don't have to give your address out if you don't want to. If you've moved from the state and you're in a different place and this is your opportunity to go no contact, then don't feel guilty. Again, it depends on the situation, and I don't know what the situation is. It's like, if it's a healthy situation, then you would give your parents your address because you wouldn't care. But if it's not a healthy situation, if there is abuse involved, if there is neglect or manipulation or control or fear of them showing up unannounced, et cetera, then you don't give your address. And I really can't tell you exactly what to do because, I don't know the whole situation. So, but the times to go no contact, the times to not share an address, to not let the abuser know where you are. If there was abuse, if they were verbally abusive, emotionally abusive, physically abusive, sexually abusive, religiously abusive, any abusive, if they were abusing you, or if they were neglectful and you basically raised yourself, or if they're always having a handout wanting you to support them as opposed to them taking care of you, that would be another time to go no contact. There's reasons to go no contact, and I can't speak to the specific situation because I don't know what's going on. But as an adult, you're under no obligation to give anybody any information you don't want to, whether it's family or not. And I think one of the things to have people think about, or to help clarify, is this question. If you were not related to these people, would you have anything to do with them? If the answer is no, act accordingly. Go no contact. If you would not have anything to do with these people, if you were not related to them, go no contact. If, however, it's just you're trying to gain your independence, but you really like them or whatever, then yeah, you're not going to go no contact, but you still have the right to not give out an address until you're ready. As an adult, you don't owe anybody anything. You don't. Especially family. You don't, because you're an adult. and especially if you're paying for yourself, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, the times that you're going to go no contact are if there's been abuse of any kind, physical, mental, emotional, religious, etc., if there's been neglect, if there's no relationship there, and if you answer the question of if you were not related to these people, would you have anything to do with them? And the answer is no, then you go no contact. So that's kind of my rule of thumb for going no contact or not. Feeling guilty. So abusers are really, really good at making us feel guilty for decisions that we've made that they don't like, that they don't get to use. So really what you need to ask yourself is, who's been hurt? Like, really, who's being hurt by not having your address? Like, really, who's being hurt? Nobody. Nobody's being hurt by it. So, and if they're trying to guilt trip you, that's another thing that you need to start asking yourself for, because abusers, and we're going to talk more about this on Sunday, abusers use fear, obligation, and guilt to make the other person do what they want, to manipulate, to control. So if they're guilt tripping you, if they're like, oh, why won't you give us, after everything we've done for you, you should feel guilty, or you're a terrible kid, or, whatever, then you really need to take a look at that. If it's just a simple, hey, let us know where you land, then that would be different, But if they're like giving you a guilt trip or trying to give you a guilt trip, that is something to take a look at, because that's what abusers do. Abusers use guilt trips to get their way. So it's going to take some logic and critical thinking. It's like, okay, why am I feeling guilty? What is being said to me that's instilling this guilt? What's going on? I'm an adult. I don't have to give my address to people, even if they're family, even if they're mom and dad, I don't have to. So are they attempting to send you on a guilt trip? Are you feeling guilty because it's what you should do? So shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Carl Rogers always talked about that was mental masturbation. I must do this, I must do that, I must. It's a mind bleep. It really is. It's a mind bleep. So if you're shoulding, I should do this, I should do that, you're shoulding all over yourself. Stop. So do you want to give your address out? Yes or no? If the answer is no, then don't. Pretty simple. But it gets convoluted when there's guilt thrown on top of that, because the inner child then gets activated, and the inner child is like, oh, but I should. Well, no, maybe you shouldn't. If you were not related to these people, would you have anything to do with them? Answer is no, don't have anything to do with them if the answer is no. So yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. So all right, I can't see how, oh, there it is. Trying to see how long I've been talking, and I'm like, I can't see anything. Man, I'm telling you. Anyway, so going no contact is an intensely personal decision. It is. And it's got to be based on, again, if you were related to them, would you have anything to do with them? No, then go no contact. Or it's based on safety. Going no contact is a safety thing. If they're just going to keep hurting you, you go no contact. That really is. And I can't tell you whether to go no contact or not go no contact, but I would invite you to get with a good trauma therapist and figure out why you're feeling guilty, and if you were not related to these people, would you have anything to do with them? That's really the big question. So, and remember, you're an adult. If you're an adult, you don't owe them anything. If you're a minor, obviously you have to give information, but I'm thinking if you move to another state, you're probably an adult. So, yeah. So remember, fear, obligation, guilt, that's used by abusers. So what is being triggered in you? So I would get the Inner Child Workbook. I would get the Self-Esteem Workbook, Codependent No More, Facing Codependency, Disease to Please. Those are all great books on codependency. And really do a pro and a con list. What are the pros of giving them your address? What are the cons of giving them your address? And whichever one is longer is the one you should probably do. Along with that question of, if you were not related to them, would you have anything to do with them? So that's what you need to kind of answer for yourself. Okay, next week we're going to talk about cognitive dissonance. We're going to talk about the confusion that rolls over us, the fear, the obligation, the guilt, the fog, all of that that stops us from making good decisions. So we're going to talk about that. All right, my loves, go be awesome. Have a great week, and I will hopefully make another one of these videos on Wednesday. All right, I said I was going to last week. I didn't. I'm really sorry. I got busy. All right, I will hopefully talk to you again on Wednesday. Talk to you later. Bye.